everyone, and welcome back to my channel for another Sims 4 speed build. Today I have a rustic sort of family home for you guys that I am building in Newcrest. At least it's in Newcrest for right now. And later at the end of the video I actually moved this home to Granite Falls because I felt like with the scenery and the mountains and the pine trees, that it was really the ideal scenery for this particular type of rustic home. Even though I do feel that the home itself probably works best as a residential lot instead of like a rental, vacation property, I still think the setting was really beautiful. And so at the end, if you stick around, you'll get to see some pictures of this house in the mountain settings. You might notice that the coloring of this video is different than my usual uploads because I'm starting to venture into the world of presets on Adobe Premiere, which is something I've never done. And I'm completely a beginner. I watched some tutorials and I've been sort of trying to teach myself a little bit about coloring. So I thought this looked pretty nice. It might be just a tad too saturated, but I'm gonna continue to play around and try different things as I, learn the process until I find one, that I like best. I know a lot of builders, it seems like they usually find a particular color, that they like, and then that kind of becomes their signature look of their videos. So hopefully one day I'll be able to have something like that as well. Currently, I am not using reshade in my Sims game because basically I don't really have a good reason other than just I haven't done it. I am, as I've said before, sort of a new player. I've only been playing for about a year and a half, so there are a lot of things that I haven't really experimented with much yet, but I am thinking that I might like to give that a try and see how it goes. I don't know, you guys can let me know in the comments or over on Instagram what you think of the colors here and if you like it, or if you have any advice for me about how to find a good look for my videos. I think it's just going to be a process that will evolve over time. Anyway, getting to today's build, this large rustic family home is replicated from a photo of a real house, which I found online. I think it was just on a Google image search. I typed in something like beautiful rustic home or something, and then this one popped up. If you'd like to see a picture of the real house, you can head over to my Instagram, which is ErikaBuilds, and you can check it out. I did like a side-by-side comparison between this house that I built in The Sims and the real house, which has kind of become my calling card, I guess, for my Instagram account. I'm always doing that, and people seem to enjoy it, so I think it's kind of fun. The house is really starting to take shape now. You can see more of the size and layout. It has 6 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms on a 40 by 30. The exterior is a combination of like brick and stone and vinyl siding, which I've tried as best I can to copy, what the real house had, but it's very difficult because we don't really have that many wallpapers in the game to choose from, especially when it comes to stone. We have a very, very limited number of stone wallpapers. So I ended up going with this sort of like round rock pattern. I really wanted more of like a jagged rock, but I wanted it to be large, which we really don't have. And I played around a little bit off video with seasons, but I feel like the size of the rocks and seasons is just a little bit too small for this sort of rustic mountain vibe. So I decided to go with this larger one. I'm not super happy with it, but I think considering the very limited options, I think it turned out okay. like I said, it's a 40 by 30 in Newcrest, which worked out really well because I knew I wanted to be able to move it to Granite Falls. And so there are 2 lots in Granite Falls that are right on the lake that are 40 by 30. If you're looking at the map, they're the 2 that are at the very bottom of the screen. So that way, if I wanted to move it, I would be able to easily move it. Granite Falls is such a beautiful place. I really, really love the mountains and the lake and the beautiful trees. I really wish that we could live there, that our Sims could live there instead of just having it as, a vacation rental area. I mean, I do enjoy the vacation rental aspect of the game. I think that's cool. But I just wish that there was a way we could do both, so that if we wanted to live in Granite Falls, we could. So it's kind of a bummer. But this particular house, because it is so large, it really is a family home. It doesn't feel like a vacation home at all. So it probably is best used as a residential lot, either here in Newcrest, or actually it would probably look really nice in Windenburg, just because of the trees. I've added some like pine trees on the lot, but Newcrest itself is really not, a wooded area, or really doesn't have any kind of rustic type vibes to the neighborhood at all. So maybe this house might look a little odd, just because it's probably not going to match other homes that you have in Newcrest. I don't know. I guess it just depends on what else you already have. Since it's just a big, blank world, it just depends on what kind of homes you currently have in your version of Newcrest. But anyway, as you can see here, I am working on the floor planning. Like I said, it's 6 bedrooms. The master bedroom is on the first floor. And then there are 4 kids' bedrooms on the second floor, 1 toddler, and then 3 just like regular kids' rooms. And then on the third floor, I've turned that into like a grandma's room, or like a nanny or butler, or I don't know, like an older sort of, maybe an elder sim type of room, which could very easily be converted into another kid's room. So if you have a 5th child, or maybe like a teen, or you want to do like a teen suite, you could do that on the 3rd floor as well. That would be pretty cool. But there are 6 bathrooms. There are 2 on the 1st floor, and then 3 on the 2nd floor, and 1 on the 3rd floor. So lots of bathrooms, and of course all the regular rooms you would expect to see, living room, there's a formal dining room, kitchen, laundry room. There's an office with a little bit of an art studio in the corner. And then around back, there's like a covered porch that has another little sort of outdoor living space with like a bar. And then outside, there's like a pool and a grill and like a barbecue area. And anyway, you'll see all that later. So it really has pretty much everything you'll need for a nice big family house. Later you'll see I actually put a fishing pond on the property as well, which if you're gonna use this house in Newcrest might be sort of weird. I don't know, you might want to delete that. But if you're putting it in Granite Falls or even Windenburg, I think the fishing pond is pretty cute. So the floor plan was a little bit tricky, as it always is with these builds that are being replicated from real homes, because I can't see the sides or the back. So I just have to kind of look at the front of the house and then give my best guess as to what maybe the back of the house might look like, which I have no way of knowing. A lot of times I'll do like a Google image search and see if I can find, I'll upload the picture that I have and see if there are any other pictures of the house, maybe from a different angle. But with this particular house, I just had one shot of the front and that was all. So it's a little bit difficult to come up with a rear exterior. And I feel like rear exteriors are definitely my weakest point right now. I always feel like they're a little bit blah, and I really need to step up my game with those. I feel like landscaping used to be sort of my weakest point, but I have improved somewhat with that, but I still need to work on my rear exteriors. I don't know. I'll just have to keep practicing and hope they improve with time. Anyway, we are inside the house now, starting with the kitchen as usual, where I always like to start. I've said before in other videos that I really feel the kitchen is kind of the heart of the home. It really sets the vibe for the home. Not even just with colors and design, but just sort of what is the kitchen? Does it feel homey? Does it feel traditional? Does it feel really rustic, or is it sleek and modern? Like, whatever the kitchen is usually what the home is, at least for me. So that's why I always start there. It's kind of like a focal point, like a reference point that I can keep referring back to when I'm choosing furniture in other rooms. A lot of times I'll think, well, does this kind of go with the theme of whatever, I happen to be building, which in this house was a rustic vibe. And rustic is kind of a term I think that can encompass a lot of different ideas and things, because you have sort of rustic traditional, you can have kind of a rustic modern. This is more what I would call almost like a rustic mountain vibe. The floors are from Outdoor Retreat, and so they're very sort of rough and worn, and I think that gives it sort of that mountain feeling. And the furniture as well, I feel like, can go sort of with that same kind of rustic and worn feeling. Jungle Adventure is the one you're seeing now that I was working on in the dining room, and I was kind of doing the dining room and the kitchen at the same time because they're, open to each other. So I want to make sure, it all kind of jives. And so I started with this Jungle Adventure, and then I ended up deleting the whole thing, which if you've seen my other videos, is like status quo for me, because I'm always doing like a total room and then deleting the whole thing. I don't know if I can explain the reasoning behind it other than it's just a gut feeling. When I look at two rooms side by side, I just get a gut feeling if they're working for me. And I think a lot of it is just personal taste. And that's one nice thing about The Sims. It's very creative and it's very personal. So something that I like or that I think matches or looks good, that's just me. It's very subjective. And, there are things I see in other builders' houses and I think, wow, I would have never thought of that, or I would have never done that, or that's so unusual to me. And I think that's kind of one of the best things about being a builder in The Sims, is like just seeing everything that the community could come up with and other builders, and just sort of taking and learning and I don't want to say taking. I mean, when you see somebody else build something, I feel like you can't help but take inspiration from that. And I don't think that's any different than if you're a painter. Are you going to go to a museum and look at Picasso and Monet and all these great artists? Well, of course you are. That's that's part of the learning experience. So if you're a builder in The Sims and you're not looking at anybody else's creations, then how would you ever learn or grow? I guess I just feel like it's a team effort. Everybody is kind of got their own styles and their own ideas, and then by seeing what other people do, it helps you form your own styles and ideas. So just as much as you would go to a museum and see all these beautiful works of art, you're not going to come home and just copy and draw the Mona Lisa or something. You're going to take these ideas and concepts and colors and put them into your own creativity. And so I think that's what I really strive to do. I like to see what other people create, and then I like to use what I learn to help myself create. And I think there is, you have to be careful. You don't want to just straight up copy anybody. You don't want to steal other people's ideas. But at the same time, you can't just live your life with blinders on and never look at anybody's homes. So I happen to really enjoy watching other builders and watching other YouTube channels. So I think there's definitely a way that you can participate in that as a fan and as a creator, both, without, like I said, you're never going to want to copy anybody, but I don't know, this is all just my opinion. And that's kind of how I've done it, especially because I'm new. I've only been playing this game for a short amount of time, so everything that I have learned, I definitely feel like has been influenced by what I've seen and what I've been able to sort of reason in my own mind based on other creations. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to explain it. I feel like I'm not explaining it very well, but anyway, getting back to the build. As you can see with this kitchen, I'm using quite a bit of clutter. In rustic homes, I do tend to clutter them up quite a bit, as opposed to like when I'm working with modern homes, and I try to keep them fairly simplistic. But with rustic, I do feel like that kind of goes with the genre, I guess, that you would have quite a bit of clutter in those. And these cabinets are from Parenthood. The tile is Jungle Adventure. Like I said before, the floors are from Outdoor Retreat. So we're using a lot of rustic sort of influences in this room. If you notice the colors might seem a little bit different, it's probably this preset that I'm using from Adobe, which has made that green a little more vibrant probably than it is in the game, as well as those counters. I mean, not the counters, the cabinets maybe are a little more orange. I'll keep playing around with that and trying different things until I can come up with something that's a good mix. I think it's just something that's going to take a lot of time until I can decide, what looks best. But definitely let me know. I'm the type of person, I like constructive criticism. I'm open to opinions, especially because there are so many people in this community who have so much more experience than I do. I welcome all comments. As long as it's nothing mean. I have had some sort of mean things said to me in the gallery, which can be really brutal sometimes. I don't know. Sometimes I think if I was maybe not as strong of a person, I don't know if I could even upload things to the gallery. I would be scared because sometimes people are just really nasty. I don't really understand, I guess, the point of going through the gallery and looking at things and just saying something bad. I mean, everyone has seen things in the gallery they don't like, or maybe that isn't their taste, or they don't have an appreciation for it or whatever. But to go on there and write a comment under someone's home or room or whatever they've designed, and they put their time and their creativity into that. It's like, let's try to be nice to each other. This is the mom in me coming out right now. It's like with my kids. It's like, can't we all just play nice? Can't everybody just be nice to everyone? I don't know. Maybe that's naive of me, but I guess that's to be expected, especially when it comes to any kind of social media. I've been around for a long time, so I know sometimes you have trolls or people that just like to complain, or they just want to try to upset people, and that's fine. You do you, and just try to avoid those kind of interactions, or just ignore them. I think that's the best, especially when I see like builders that I admire so much who talk about getting negative feedback or whatever. I just think, how is that even possible? Because they're so amazing. But I guess that's just happens to everybody. But anyway, back to the build. I feel like I'm talking too much besides what you're actually seeing. But this is the living room. This is Seasons for the couches and Jungle Adventure for the tables. It's pretty dark. I'm still trying to stick with that rustic vibe. I feel like green green is pretty versatile. You know, you see green a lot in Rustic, but you also see it a lot in more springy, light, bright rooms as well. So I think it just kind of depends on what you put with it. And by using the dark floors and dark windows, it definitely, I think, makes it feel more rustic. And I gave them a grand piano. As usual, I always try to give Sims families plenty of activities and hobbies, you know, musical instruments and games, easels, things like that. Skill building. That's what I was trying to think of. Skill building items. And then just off of the living room is the office there. There's with French doors. It's a pretty small office because if you notice at the beginning of the video, this started out as the master bedroom bathroom because I had the master in the back of the house and then I had the office in the front of the house. But then the windows were not turning out right for me in the rear exterior like facade of the house, so I ended up flip-flopping and putting the master in the front and the office in the back. So it ended up making this room pretty small, but I mean, you don't really need a lot of space. There's enough room there to sit at the desk and use the computer, and then there's an easel, which I had my sim come in and paint some pictures for the build, which I think everyone is used to by now because my playtest sim is a painter, so her paintings are going global now. She's in all of these homes that I keep putting in the gallery, which is pretty funny. And there I was adding a TV to the living room, of course, gotta have a TV. And then the master is up here in the front, which is a little strange, but I think it's still okay. I've seen homes where the master bedroom is in the front before, so I don't think it's that unusual. A little unusual for me though, because I don't usually put them in this location, but it just happened to work out better this way. This bed is cats and dogs, as well as the curtains and the dresser and chest. That's all cats and dogs, which works really nicely for rustic homes. They have that sort of old-fashioned look that I think works really well in this particular style. It's kind of a small bedroom, but with master bedrooms, you know, since you don't have toys and all the things that you would have in a kid's room, if I have a small bedroom, I'm probably going to make it the master just because the master doesn't really need anything. And I'm sorry this looks so yellow. I usually change those lamps as I'm building, and for some reason I didn't. I must have been distracted or I just wasn't thinking about it. So when you download the game from the gallery, I do have the lights set to a more neutral color, which I'm wondering, when you download something from the gallery, do those light settings stay? That's something I actually don't know. I'll have to investigate that and see. But I'm guessing that when you download this, it's going to give you the same lighting settings that I was using, but I don't really know. Okay, so this is the master bathroom, also very small. Originally this was a closet, so it was very, very small. But again, they don't really need that much space anyway. Sticking with lots of dark tones, dark wood. This is mostly green. The sink and bathtub and toilet are all from cats and dogs. And that floor is masonry from Jungle Adventure. And accenting that with some brown towels, and then there's brown and green also in the rug on the floor. So it's definitely dark, warm colors. Okay, so now I'm back to the other side of the house. Just behind the kitchen is the laundry room / mudroom. You might have noticed at the beginning I was trying to make that a side entrance, but the house was so close to the edge of the lot I couldn't fit the stairs, so I ended up having to move the door from the side around to the back. So it's a backside entrance, which I think still works fine. So this is where I've kind of designated the family will enter from. So I've got the backpacks here and shoes by the door. thinking that this is where the kids and pets and everything would come in and out, which of course mixed with all the laundry room essentials from laundry day. Mostly everything in here is laundry day except for the floors and the walls, which are jungle adventure. Typically, and I've said this before in videos, and I'm sorry if I repeat myself a lot, but you know, you never know if somebody might be watching your video for the first time and so they haven't heard this before, but I usually keep, you know, all the family items by either a side entrance or a back entrance, and I keep the front door strictly as like a guest's type entrance for like entertaining, or when the welcome wagon comes, you know, everybody's coming to the front door, and then this back door is kind of how I envision the family coming in and out, which also would fit with like if we had cars in the game, which maybe someday we will. That would be sort of like the garage entrance. And then I ended up with this sort of odd little room in between that I decided to sort of dedicate to the dog. So there's like the leash shelf is here, and the little doggy treats and food dish, and there's a door that goes to the backyard. So I imagine this would be a really good way for pets to come in and out without them having to come through the laundry room or the living room. So it's giving, you know, a third option as far as entering and exiting the home. And then in between, I've put a bathroom in here. I'm calling this a guest bath slash pets bath because I put a bathtub in here specifically since it was right off this pet area, so it would be a good place to bathe your dog. But also the way this bathroom is situated right off the living room, it will also be the bathroom that guests would use. So it's a multi-purpose bathroom. Again, keeping with lots of rustic tones, browns. I ended up doing some gray in here to kind of brighten it up just a little bit. But it's still fairly rustic, I think, overall. And I carried the same tile from the laundry room into this bathroom as well. Normally, I'll just do a half bath off of the living room, but since this was kind of serving a dual purpose for pets, that's why I decided to go ahead and make it a full bathtub. Then just off the living room, we have this nice outdoor porch area with a ceiling fan and open windows. Those shuttered open windows are from Jungle Adventure, and this furniture is from Perfect Patio. So I sort of envision this as just a chill area for like the family to come out here, enjoy fresh air without having to be totally outside. You know, they're getting a nice outdoor breeze. But there's also a bar here and a stereo, so I think it could also be used for entertaining, like you can have cocktails and have music. And I've added some of those outdoor lights from the toddler stuff pack, so I think it has a little bit of a party vibe or a get-together vibe, either for when the kids have friends over, if they want to sit out there, or adults. I guess it's more of like an adult area just because with the bar and everything. But I do like to make these. If you've been downloading my houses out of the gallery, you probably noticed that this is kind of a kick that I've been on for the last couple of months. And I love adding those window boxes into those Jungle Adventure windows, which I kind of just did by accident one time. I didn't really think they would latch on, but they do. And so I think that's kind of cool too, how it makes it look like the flowers and vines are kind of spilling over the edge of the windows. So I've been doing that a lot, and I think it's kind of cute. Okay, so I cut out all the landscaping again, because really, it's nothing super exciting. Trees, bushes, flowers. Like I said, I put that pond, swimming pool, there's a playground, there's a fire pit area. Plus there's still extra space if you wanted to add more outdoor activities. It's, you know, 40 by 30 is a pretty big lot, so you've got a lot of room to work with out there. So we're now on the second floor, and at the top of the stairs, there's a large landing that's kind of funky shaped. I mean, it could have been partitioned off into a bedroom, but I didn't really need another bedroom, so I decided to leave it open and make it just sort of this game room, entertainment room for the kids. I wouldn't really call it a playroom I mean, there is a toy box there, but it's kind of more of a game room just because I have the llama, don't wake the llama, is it don't wake the llama? Is that the name of it? And the dartboard, and there's like a bookcase there and a little reading corner. So I don't know, just kind of a little place where kids could hang out and play games and stuff. And this first kids' bedroom that I'm doing is just a gender neutral sort of bright color room. It's got a lot of orange and blue, very rustic tones with lots of dark wood floors, dark wood windows. This bed I love. I think I've said in another video, I try to use it all the time, and the only problem is it only really matches with this sort of orangey brown furniture, which doesn't really go with my typical suburban homes. I have a tendency to go with a lot of white and gray in my regular family homes, especially in kids' rooms. I tend to always use the white or very light wood, like parenthood dresser and chest. So this isn't a set I get to use very often, but when I do get to use it, I'm really excited because I love these colors so much. I love bright, vivid colors. So this would be like my room if I was a kid. When I was little, I would have loved to have had a room with all these bright colors. So I added like a chair and a bench, and there's a full-length mirror, nice computer desk, that laptop from Strangerville. And then this child also has their own bathroom, which I've carried in the orange and blue theme to that bathroom as well. And so it kind of gives this almost like a suite. It could even almost maybe be like a teen suite. I mean, there are a few toys in there, so I guess it's probably more for a child. But it's definitely big enough for, an older child that, has their own bathroom built right into their bedroom. And then next door is another child's room, which also sticking with lots of dark brown woods. I went with this bed that has the little critter guy. That's not a void critter. What is that? I'm not really sure what that is. I'm sure it probably has a name. It's in sort of a pink and purple style, which normally I would go with a very light, bright wall color, but sticking with the rustic, I decided to go with this brown wainscoting, but with the pink Garden Glory wallpaper. I think it kind of serves both. I feel like it's rustic, but yet it's still sort of bright and light with the pink, which I think is nice. And then the little desk area, I've carried that pink and purple over to tie in the theme with the purple computer and some purple posters. That particular tone of wood desk only comes with the blue drawers, which didn't really match, but I think it was still okay. There's some blue mixed in with the purple in those posters and pictures, so I think it all ties together. And the rug also has that sort of aqua turquoise that also I matched with the toy box. I don't know if anybody thinks as much about matching as I do. I might be slightly obsessed that I'm matching rugs and toy boxes, but that's just me. I don't know. That's just something that I have to do. Okay, so the third kid's bedroom now. This is a toddler room. And again, dark woods, dark brown. I went with dinosaurs in here with lots of blues and greens, which I think goes really nicely with the dark brown wood. I love these sort of warm chocolatey colors. I think they're very homey, very cozy. They just feel very family friendly to me. And I've been building a lot of modern houses lately. I don't know why. I kind of got on a kick there and did like 3 houses in the last 2 weeks that were like black and white and gray. So I think I kind of burned out on that a little bit. I was ready to do some browns and some warm tones, which personally is probably a little bit more of my taste because I like a traditional homey feel, especially for kids' rooms. So I think that room turned out cute. And then there's a bathroom just between these 2 bedrooms that's blue parenthood wallpaper with the whales. And then out in the hallway, I just tried to match it to the downstairs hallway as much as I could. So I used the same rug runner, the same sconces, the same flooring, so it's all tied together with the first floor. I ended up having this kind of odd little bump out there for the bathroom, so I stuck that little shelf cubby there and put like a backpack and some books. I imagine the kids are running up and down the hall. Maybe they just toss their stuff on that little shelf. And then the last bedroom on this floor, I think, is probably my favorite because I decided to do like a nature lovers sort of bedroom with a bunch of little critters. So this child is obsessed with like bugs and frogs and all living things, and I wanted to put a lot of little creatures in here, which turned out to be really fun. I can just imagine that the kid that lives in here absolutely loves all of these little pets that they've collected. The thing that was hard was trying to figure out how I was going to display these pets, because shelves would be the logical choice, but the problem is the shelves in the game that we have so far are very narrow and they're not deep enough for these large, bug and frog type boxes. So I ended up stacking these patio tables on top of each other. I don't know, maybe that looks a little silly, but I just really wanted this child to have all of these bugs and things. So they have like a walking stick and a butterfly and a frog and a fish tank that I put a goldfish in. So this child has all the little critters in their room, which I think is really cute. And then I've just added a lot of greens and browns and outdoorsy sort of nature items to tie it all together. And the wallpaper and photos with dinosaurs, which I think kind of goes hand in hand with wildlife. I don't know if that goldfish will stay, since that's something that I bought in game. I'm not sure if that fish will be in there or if you'll have to buy one yourself. I'm not sure. But then the bathroom that's connected to this room, I decided I just would go all out, and so I went with the bathroom set from Outdoor Retreat, which is so funny to me because it's like this outdoor sort of wooden shower and sink and toilet, but I just feel like this child will absolutely love this bathroom because it's just over the top outdoors with all of the wood. I don't know, I think it's cute. It doesn't really match the other bathrooms in the house, but I think that's okay. These bathrooms that are part of the bedroom, I feel like it's like a theme, it's like they go together as like a package deal. So as long as they match each other, I think that's all that matters. And so I cut out most of the third floor because this was getting so incredibly long, but this is what I was calling the sort of grandma's room on the third floor, which, as I said before, you could very easily change into a room for a teen or another child if you need to. Whatever, serves your Sims family. And there's a bathroom up here as well. So as we're getting towards the end of the video, there's just a few things I wanted to say. Number one, thank you so much for all your support. I'm getting really close to 500 subscribers, which is so exciting. When I started this channel 3 weeks ago, I didn't think I'd get 10 subscribers. So I'm very happy that so many people have decided to, come and watch these videos. I'm going to be having a giveaway soon, and basically I'm going to do it with Twitter just because Twitter is like home for me. That's what I'm most comfortable with and I know how to use as far as giveaways go. So it's just going to be one of those retweet this tweet to enter, and the winner is going to have any Sims 4 pack of their choice out of like 25 packs or whatever, just whichever one you want. And I'm going to do that to celebrate 500, which is super exciting. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more homes, and stay tuned at the end for some pictures from Granite Falls. So that's all for now, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.